Okay, so now let's dive into and start to discuss about pointers. Let me get rid of all of the code here. Let's retain the structs here. Maybe, yeah, sure. Let's retain the structs the way they are. This will be helpful later, so let me not delete it. Before we start, I want to revisit our mental model and remind you of that. So we talked about the memory. We talked about the fact that the memory is byte addressable. Okay, spelling something, byte addressable. And we also then talked about the CPU being able to send that address on the bus to the memory. And then we talked about like two types of buses, um, wherein, one was like for instruction and one was for data. We'll talk about both the scenarios in our, exploration of the pointers, and then there was read and write, right? So something like this was there. What the key thing I want you to now focus on is I mentioned that an address that we provide to the memory is a number. Okay, so it's a number, and now pointer essentially means address. That's it. So pointer really literally means a pointer is a number, and that number is treated or interpreted as an address. So just hold this information in your head right now, and let's go ahead and do some experiments, like straight up. So I have int x, right? And let me also assign it the value of 10. So the imagination in our head now, the model we should have is somewhere in the memory, there is x and the value is 10. And what is the space that x occupies? Well, it's 4 bytes. So let me draw like, yeah, 4 bytes. And this 10 is spread across, like it's written in the 4 bytes. It occupies 4 bytes. So we have this name x. Now it's very clear that if 10 exists somewhere, which we are referring to as x, it must have some address. So the two operators that I want you to remember going forward is this ampersand sign, and I also want you to remember the asterisk. And my claim is that these two are very important in pointers when talking about or dealing with the concept of pointers. Okay, so usually this would mean the AND operation, and this would mean the multiplication. But in certain very special cases, they mean something related to pointers. Or around the pointer variable, they mean something else. So let me talk about that. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to then go ahead and do like a printf and print the value of x. So let me do this, and then followed by I'm going to print the value of the address of x. So for that we have %p, and then let me use ampersand x. I'll explain that, and then let me go ahead and say x and ampersand of x. So let me go ahead and print this first. Let me run this experiment, and then I'll explain something. Okay, so first off, if we are using the AND symbol with just one variable, so we are not doing 1 and b, not like this. If we just use something like so, and the space doesn't matter, here, if I had something like this, I believe that is also fine. Yeah, that is also fine. So the space doesn't matter. What matters is AND being used in its entirety with just one variable, or it's sandwiched between two variables or two values. Like, do I have like 3 and let's say x? So let's try that out. In fact, I don't think that is allowed, but you can run your experiments as well. Okay, so it says, hey, something's wrong, and it presented a warning. So technically it did not error out. So the compiler mentioned that, hey, maybe you're trying to have like an int value that you're trying to print as a pointer. So P is for pointer. Void star will talk about that. But you see that it's saying this is interpreted as an int. Fair. But if I just use and with x, well, then it is going to print the address of x. Subtle thing, but wanted you to know. When used with a variable, if that's the only combination, ampersand and the variable that we are using, no problem. That's an address. If we have a variable and another variable, well, that's the ANDing, bitwise ANDing operation. Okay, so far, hopefully you're convinced that we are only using x with ampersand or ampersand with x. So we are telling the compiler, hey, this means address of x. And let me go ahead and compile and run this then. And let me also put like a slash n here just for readability's sake. The answer will be right. So on one line. So what I imagine now in my head is there is memory. In memory, there is the location with hex number 7FFC whatever, and at that point we have 4 bytes given to us where the value 10 exists. So x as a variable lives at the memory location this. That is how you're supposed to think about it. Okay, so can this only happen in case of integers? No, definitely not. It can also be done. So every variable gets an address. So let me then make, and let's give like 1234, and that's enough. Okay, x now is of the type, or maybe let me just make it pt1, right? The good old pt1. And I'm not going to print the value of pt1. Let me skip that. We're only interested in the address of pt1. So I am just going to say, hey, print the address of pt1. Again, notice this pattern, which is we have the variable and on the left of it is the ampersand. This means address. Had I had something else with pt1, this then is interpreted as the AND operation. Without this, it's address of. So I'm then saying, hey, print the address of pt1 in and put it in %p. Put it at that location while printing, that is, on the screen. Great. So the address of pt1 is DDA and what. Now, an interesting thing. I'm going to now print, and this will prove something about our previous discussion on struct. So I'm going to print 3 addresses for x, y, and z. And in fact, you know what? Let me just comment this out. Let's have this definition here, but you see there is no member mn now. X, y, z are it. So let me just have address of pt1.y and then address of pt1.z. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply copy paste this twice and change this to y and change this to z. This is the point where you can run your experiments to confirm the information I shared about struct, the padding and all of that. Okay, so we compile and we run. Now what do you notice? This is that beautiful moment. You'll notice that, well, x is at phi c, and I'm going to like ignore all of this because it's common between everyone until this point. It should be common among all of them. But if you notice, this is at 60, this is at 64, and this is at phi c. So c means the number 12. So from 12, if we go from 5c to 60, that essentially means there are 4 bytes until we reach 60, and from 60 to 64, well, that gap is 4 bytes. So now can you imagine or reconfirm that we had the x, y, and z I mentioned Each one is 4 bytes. And now by printing their addresses, we can confirm. So this is 5C, this address is 60, and this address is 64. So they are at a 4 byte boundary. Now what I want you to do is change the Y back to the character and print the address of that character and figure out where the padding bytes are. So that's one thing about addresses. So what we have done so far is we have just talked about addresses, and then I shared with you the mental model. I reminded you of that, and we only printed using the ampersand the address of a given variable. Let me conclude this lecture here. In the next one, I'm going to introduce the asterisk or the star symbol and how to go about defining or declaring the pointer variables. All right, so with this, I'll catch you in the next one.